Right. So all types of linguistic analysis and studies assume that languages are structured. Structured. You know, language, you write it, and don't forget it. Language is not a random selection of words. It is a human intelligence. Okay? It is strongly structured and built. But each language is built according to its society, to its speakers, to its sociology, to its social structure, and things alike. Okay? Each language is structured differently. All languages are structured, but each language has its own specific, particular structure, which is different from the others. Okay? Maybe similar or different, but each language is right. Each utterance is not a random series of words. Each utterance is not a random series of words. موش جيب الكلام ولا الكلمات وحطهم مع بعض. No. There is an order, there is a logic, there is a construction. Okay. It is utterance, it is put together according to some principles, underline it, according to some principles. So, language construction, between brackets, it's an explanation. Language construction, okay, obeys to rules, to principles, rules and principles. We do not speak randomly. We do not speak randomly. Okay? For the brain and for society. This morning, I eat a piece of meat. This morning, I eat a hot dog. Do you know what's a hot dog? Yes. What is it? Is it a dog which is hot? So here languages differ. When I say I eat or I drink an elephant, it's not, no, it's not wrong, it's right. Because in some societies, when you say elephant, it's a kind of milk. Mix it with something else, which I cannot tell you, obviously.
I get it.
You understand? So, you should know the culture and the encounter of all language. Okay? If not, you don't understand. You understand? So, language is contextual and cultural at the same time. Cultural and contextual. It's put together according to some principles which determine the words, underline it, the words that occur, comma, the words that occur, the form, underline it, and the order of the words. Okay? So the principles determine the word or the words. How do they happen? How do they occur? Okay. The form of the word and the order of the word. And not only that, it's not sufficient, there is also the meaning of the word. The meaning. Okay. The next point, this is very important. المعلومة اللي جاية مهمة جدا. Okay. In scientific analysis, a linguist must be guided by exhaustiveness, consistency, and the last one, economy. Exhaustiveness, consistency, and economy. When you study a language, you should be guided by its exhaustiveness, consistency, and economy. What does it mean? Exhaustiveness. Exhaustiveness, adequate treatment of all relevant material. When you carry out a scientific investigation in linguistics, you should gather all elements. معناها تجمع جميع المعلومات. Till you finish, ما تخلي حتى حاجة لبرا. Exhaustiveness. Okay, you should gather all that, if you want, all information related to your case study. This is what we call exhaustive. Adequate treatment of all relevant material. Consistency. You should investigate what we call a language. And the language is conditioned by the quality of language. Yes, so you have to pay attention, and all scientific investigation is, if you want, conditioned by considerations. كاين اعتبارات بزاف, okay, كاين ظروف بزاف. But, you know, a sample from a language, and the best sample of a language, أحسن عينة في اللغة باش تدرسها هي الجملة برك. Only a sentence. Okay. Just a sentence is valid for study. But sentences vary from one language to another language. Okay. Sentences vary from one language to another. For example, if I tell you come, is it a sentence? Yes. But it's not valid. It's not so valid. So your sentence should be consistent. معناه فيه جميع أنواع صيغ تاع الكلمات اللي توجد في الجملة. If you want the best example of sentence that illustrates all categories of studies. معناه لازم يكون فيها not verb, تكون مزينة شوية. Okay, it's a decorated sentence. تكون فيها an adjective. You understand? So, a typical sentence. If not, if you do not get it in one sentence, you choose another sentence. So you gather all categories of sentences that might happen in that language. معناها تجمع جميع أنواع الجمل for study. You understand? So these are conditions of studies. These are conditions of what we call exhaustiveness, consistency. It should be consistent. Okay. Human language, but a linguist is conditioned, okay, in his study, or is conducted in his study by conditions of principles. And these principles, if you want, linguistic scientific research is conditioned by principles. قال موش نروحوا هكا الطريق ونمشيو. No, كاين شروط. There are conditions. And the conditions of, you're right if you want, conditions of scientific studies of language are exhaustiveness, consistency, and economy. Economy, what does it mean economy? مش تهز كتاب وتقول نبحث في اللسانيات. No, كتاب ما عندنا ما نديرو به. Economy. Okay. The minimum requirement. Okay. The minimum requirement. Okay. Economy short statements rather than longer statements. Okay? Short sentences rather than longer. They are not sentences, they are statements, if you want. Okay. And the next point is the most important one. So here, any linguist expects to achieve the greatest possible degree of objectivity. Objective. موضوعية. Yes. Any linguist expects to achieve the greatest possible degree of objectivity. When you carry out a scientific research about language, you should be objective. It's partly, the next one, it's partly the insistence on objectivity, it's partly the insistence on objectivity, it's partly the insistence on objectivity which gives linguistics the status of science. The status of science. Why linguistics is called scientific study? Because it's conducted under objective. Why linguistics is called scientific study? Because it should be carried out with a maximum of objectivity. What is objectivity? For example, an example of objectivity, all human languages are the same. There is no natural superiority between languages. There is no big or small language. There is no bad or good language. All languages are structured, you understand, elaborated under conditions, under principle. They are structured, yes, but they are structured differently. Why they are structured differently? Because culturally they are different. Okay, culturally they are different. And what impacts a lot on languages, it's the environment, external environment. The last point, linguistics is conducted under two scopes. Linguistics is conducted under two scopes, what we call the micro scope of microlinguistics and the macrolinguistics. Microlinguistics deals with the core of language. It deals with the interior, lub, or qalb. What's the language core? What's the language core? Sound, what you call phonetics, yes. Phonemics, phonology, then morphology, syntax, what we call grammar, then semantics, the study of meaning, of the meaning of meaning, you understand? Right. So this is microlinguistics, and this is what we are going to study next time. Microlinguistics, phonology, phonetics, the difference, morphology, morphophonemes, morphosyntax. There is a relationship between morphology and phonology, what we call morphosyntax. Okay? And there is a relationship between sounds and morphology, what we call morphophonemes or morphophonology. You understand? It exists also, right? So, macrolinguistics is the study of language in relation to other disciplines, such as society and language. We say sociolinguistics. How people speak is psycholinguistics. Geography and how do people speak in a space, it's called geolinguistics.